వాళ్ళందరికీ?
ఇంజనీర్లు తర్వాత
మీకు డైరెక్ట్ గా సర్పంచ్లకి ఏమైనా సంబంధం ఉంటుందా?
డైరెక్ట్ గా మాకు ఎందుకంటే గ్రామ పంచాయతీ లెవెల్లో జరిగే వర్క్లన్నీ కూడా త్రూ ఎగ్జిక్యూషన్ ఇంజనీరింగ్ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ చేస్తుంటారు.
సో మీరు ఇప్పుడు డైరెక్ట్ గా సర్పంచ్లకు సంబంధించి ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ పంపాలంటే న్యూస్ పేపర్స్ కాకుండా వాట్సాప్ గ్రూప్ లో పంపొచ్చా? చేస్తున్నా
ఉన్నది కానీ ఇంకా అట్లా మనం గ్రూప్ మీద అట్లా మేము మెయింటైన్ చేస్తలేము. వాటి డిస్ట్రిక్ట్ పంచాయతీ ఆఫీసు డిపిఓ దగ్గర వాళ్ళకు డైరెక్ట్ యాక్సెస్ ఉంటుంది. డిస్ట్రిక్ట్ పంచాయతీ ఆఫీసు డిపిఓ దగ్గర వాళ్ళకు పంచాయత్ సెక్రటరీస్, పంచాయత్ సర్పంచెస్ వీళ్ళకి డైరెక్ట్ యాక్సెస్ ఉంటుంది సార్.
సో ఇప్పుడు డిస్ట్రిక్ట్ పంచాయత్ రాజ్ ఆఫీసులో ఆ డిస్ట్రిక్ట్ లో ఉన్న అందరూ సర్పంచ్ల ఫోన్ నెంబర్లు వాళ్ళందరికీ ఒక వాట్సాప్ గ్రూప్ ఉందా?
పెట్టుకుంటారు, డిపిఓ దగ్గర ఉంటుంది.
అంటే వాళ్ళకి ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ అంటే సో ఇది అంటే కేవలం మనకు ఈ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ పంపడానికి, సమాచారం పంపడానికి, సేకరించడానికి కేవలం న్యూస్ పేపర్లే కాదు, రకరకాల మాధ్యమాల ద్వారా సమాచారాన్ని ఇవ్వడం, తీసుకోవడానికి అన్ని మార్గాలు ఉపయోగించవచ్చు. అంటే ఒక రకంగా ఏమిటంటే ఇప్పుడు వాట్సాప్ను కొంతవరకు యూజ్ చేస్తున్నారు. ఓకే, so there was some problem. Okay, hello. Hello. Hello.
Sir.
Okay, right. There was some problem.
Mistakes stuck at sir.
సరే, ఇప్పుడు మీకు ప్రాజెక్ట్ రిపోర్ట్లో ఉండే చాప్టర్లో ఐడియా ఉంది కదా? ఉందా? హలో. హలో. హలో
సార్, చెప్పండి సార్. లైన్ సార్ చెప్పండి, డిస్టర్బెన్స్ ఉంది.
ఎవరు ఒక కొత్త ఏమనాలి మనం అతన్ని
మధు.
సభ్యుడు అందామా, ప్రేక్షకుడు అందామా, స్టూడెంట్ అందామా, ఏమనొచ్చు?
స్టూడెంట్లే సార్, అందరు స్టూడెంట్లే.
ఓకే, రైట్.
మధు.
సో అతనికి వినబడుతుందో లేదో తెలియదు. హలో హలో హలో. ఓకే, సరే. ఇప్పుడు మనకి మీకు ప్రాజెక్ట్ రిపోర్టులో ఏ చాప్టర్స్ ఉంటాయి ఐడియా ఉందా? చదివిన కదా మేము పంపించిన గైడ్ లైన్స్. హలో
సార్ మీరు పంపినది ఉన్నా సార్, మీరు పంపిన ఫైల్ ఉన్నా సార్, దాని ప్రకారం చూస్తున్నాం సార్.
చూసారా దాన్ని?
చూసాం సార్.
ఓకే, రైట్. సరే, ఇప్పుడు ఒక విషయం గుర్తుంచుకోవాల్సింది ఏంటంటే ప్రాజెక్ట్ రిపోర్ట్ ఈజ్ నాట్ ఎన్ ఎస్సే. ఏదో ఒక విషయం గురించి వ్యాసం రాయడం కాదు. ఇది ఏమిటంటే ఎంపెరికల్ డేటా బేస్డ్ అంటాం. రీసెర్చ్ ఈజ్ బేస్డ్ ఆన్ ఎంపెరికల్ ఎవిడెన్స్. ఎంపెరికల్ ఎవిడెన్స్ అంటే ఏమిటి? మన కండ్లకు కనిపించేది, వినిపించే సాక్ష్యాల ఆధారంగా. డేటా సమాచారం అంటే ఏంటి? కేవలం మన మైండ్లో మన ఆలోచనలు వచ్చిన వాటి ఆధారంగా కాకుండా ఎవరినైనా అడిగి వాళ్ళతో మాట్లాడి వచ్చిన ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ను బేస్ చేసుకొని మనం ఒక కంక్లూజన్కి వస్తాం. ఓకే, సో ఇప్పుడు మీరు పంచాయత్ రాజ్ డిపార్ట్మెంటులో ప్రజా సంబంధాల ఏమంటున్నాం కార్యకలాపాలు. సో who is carrying out those PR activities? Whether there is any PR wing. If there is no PR wing, through whom you are carrying out your PR activities. So this should partly you have to analyze yourself first. Then you may have to talk to people, publics, various publics, maybe your officials, superiors, colleagues, your subordinates, and your external publics. External publics means, as you said, mostly you are connected with contractors. Okay, but also you may have to listen to people who are using your services. For example, users of road, you may construct buildings, there may be problem of building, something like that. Okay, so hello Madhu. Hello. Hello. Okay, sir, then we'll ever raru. So what I will do is project reports are mostly done by students relating to audience research. Okay, audience means communication mass media receivers. So when it comes to newspapers, readers are audience. When it comes to TV, viewers are audience. Radio listeners are audience. Social media users are audience. So audience studies are maybe at this stage, that is at MA level, easy for the students to carry out. One reason is easy availability of respondents. That means, who is respondent? Respondent is a person who gives information for our research. Okay, So it is very easy to find out newspaper readers. It is very easy to find out, reach TV viewers, radio listeners, smartphone users, YouTube users. Okay. So this is because the reason why most of the students do audience research is, number one is easy availability of respondents, easy availability of information. Okay. So for example, as I told you yesterday, if you want to do a survey or research related to MLAs, you may not find them easily. Okay. So similarly, for example, you are staying in Sangareddy. So if you want to do a study on doctors, you may find them very few doctors and they may not be willing to spare some time. Okay. So the primary reason for the students opting for choosing project reports related to audience is easy availability. Okay. So number two is the topics are the problem, research problems are familiar to every student. Okay. As a newspaper reader, as a TV viewer, as a radio listener, as a user of social media, as a user of internet. Okay. So you are to some extent familiar with the topic. You know how an average reader thinks. An average reader's opinion about media, how an average reader uses newspaper, why he reads newspaper. Okay. So because of these reasons, students are preferring audience related research. So I will explain you. Actually, I wanted to explain most used research topics. Audience. Number two is content analysis. Okay. So yesterday I told you our research mainly relates to who says what in which channel to whom with what effect. That means about the communicator, about message, about channel or medium, about the receiver and impact. Okay. So first you have decided, for example, let us say you have decided to do your project report on audience. Okay. So audience is over. Then you have to take a decision about the media you want to take. Is it print newspaper? Is it television? Is it radio, internet, social media, or WhatsApp, whatever? Or you may also take all the media. For example, you can also do a study on media habits of various groups, media habits of students, media habits of retired people, citizens, senior citizens, media habits of housewives. Okay. So in this media habits, what we do is we will go it later. Okay. So maybe media habits. So in this media habits, we ask them how much time they spend on each media. What are the programs they are watching mostly? What media they have access to or they own. whether they have TV, internet, smartphone. Okay. So how much time they are spending, newspaper, how many hours they are reading, what percentage of newspaper they are reading. So what are the major programs they are watching on TV? This is just only, actually these are called descriptive studies. So when it comes to research, there are major types are descriptive research, analytical research. Okay. Descriptive research describes the social phenomena. Describes. It says what is there. Descriptive studies means what is there. So it describes who is newspaper reader, what is his age, who are they, whether they are men or women, what is their occupational background, are they self-employed, government employed, agriculturist, businessman, okay, retired, woman, housewife. So this is descriptive studies means it describes what is there. Also what they think about particular issue. Okay. So first you have to decide whether you want to, the purpose of research, whether you want to do a descriptive study. So got an idea what is a descriptive study? Descriptive study also studies what is there in newspaper, what type of news are published, what type of TV programs are telecasted. So these are called descriptive studies. They just describe numbers. The second one is analytical research or explanatory. Here, the researcher focuses on why aspect. Relationship, why they read. Is there a relationship between readership, what kind of news they read, women, men, employed people, unemployed people. So this analyzes, explains why aspect. Okay. So first you have to decide about your research problem, whether it is analytical or descriptive, whether it is about audience or content, what is there in a newspaper, or about the communicator, maybe journalist or medium, newspaper. Okay. So in this, again, audience, as I said earlier, media consumption, motivations, why they use. Yesterday I told you there is a theory called uses and gratifications theory. So this theory explains why audience use media and what satisfaction they get. These are called motivational research. Motives behind reading. Motives behind using a medium. Why they watch TV program. Why they watch a particular TV program. Why people are preferring OTT. You know what is OTT? Anjaya? Hello? Hello? What is OTT?
Online.
OTT. OTT, Netflix. OTT, what is the full form of OTT? Over the top. Over the top media. Netflix, Amazon Prime, you know? Hello? Hello? Who is the other person?
Yes, sir.
So do you know what is OTT? Why people are using OTT?
Over the top, sir. OTT means nowadays Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hotstar.
Why are people using it? So this can be a research question. Okay.
Okay.
So when we are doing audience research, so why people are preferring particular medium? Why agriculture labor also using phones? What is the satisfaction they are getting? Why they are ready to spend some money? So these type of questions can be raised by using uses and gratification studies. Do you remember this is discussed in communication theories? Hello? Anybody? So the research problem, research question decides what method we use. Okay. Is it survey method? Is it experimental method? Is it content analysis? And again, what tool we use to collect data? So do you know what is observation method? You need not answer, you just chart. Okay. What is observation? Any idea? Observation. First year there was first semester. Quantitative communication research. What is observation method? Case study method, observation method. Okay. So this is a method to collect data from the participants. So who is a participant? Participant is a person who gives information for our research. They are called participants, right? So for those who have come late, yesterday we have discussed about introductory nature, about some orientation of this project report, what is project report, something, etc. So I want to discuss various topics mostly used by students to do their project report. Okay. So today I am discussing about audience related project reports. So you can do your research relating to communicator, message, channel, receiver, and impact. Okay. So in mass media research, one of the main focus area is audience research, because newspapers or any media is interested in finding out who is their audience, where are they, what is their social background, what is their income levels, where are they living, how much time they are spending. Okay. So this information is used for in two ways. One is to tailor their content to suit the audience profile. Okay. The second one is they can sell advertisement space for advertiser. Okay. So advertisers are interested in audience who are willing to buy their product, use their service. So they want to know which newspaper is read by majority of people, which newspaper is read by wealthy people, which newspaper read in Hyderabad or rural areas, or which TV program is watched by women, like that. Okay. So audience research is very popular. And as I explained earlier, students also prefer to do audience research, because for audience research, in getting information is very easy. Okay. So you will find newspaper readers everywhere. You will find TV audience everywhere. You will find social media users or smartphone users everywhere. So there is no problem in getting information for your research. Okay. So our research design depends upon what is research design. Research design is our research plan. Okay. Research plan means what is the method we are using, what is the tool we are going to use, who are the participants, people we are going to meet, how do you select those people. So these are part and parcel of research design. Okay. So research design depends upon our research problem. Whether you depends upon the method, that is survey method, experimental method, or observation. These aspects depends upon our research problem. Okay. So audience, when come to audience, I'm explaining it again for those who have come late, right? So you may look at profile of audience, just a profile. Who is the newspaper reader of a particular newspaper or TV channel, like that. Okay. So motivations are just I was explaining about uses and gratifications theory. So uses and gratifications theory explains why audience use media and what kind of satisfaction they get. Okay. So first, as I tell you, research design involves research questions, objectives, why you are doing your research. Okay. So then you decide about method, survey method or experimental method. Do you know what is experimental method? Any idea? Hello? Hello? What is experimental method? Experimental method or content analysis. Okay. So whatever it is, so the method depends upon our research questions or research objectives. Okay. So depending upon our research method, that is, for example, in audience research, a majority of the studies are using survey method. Okay. So survey method. Before deciding about tool, we have to decide or we have to identify where do we get our information. So I told you earlier that project report is based on empirical evidence. It is not like essay. It is not a big essay. It is based on empirical evidence. Empirical evidence means evidence which you can see or which you can hear. That means you take your information from people. So in survey research, we get information from people, individuals. In research, it is called unit of analysis. Okay, unit of analysis. So when you are taking survey research, you are getting your information, data from individuals, right? So how do you get that information, data? You can get that information by using questionnaire. You know what is questionnaire? Hello? Am I? What is a questionnaire? Hello? What is a questionnaire? Questionnaire is a list of questions pertaining to our research problem. Okay, so we may use questionnaire, we may use interview, or we may use observation method. You know what is observation method? Hello? Observation. Emaya, Anjaya. Hello?
Sir.
Observation, winner?
Sir.
Observation method.
Sir.
Sir, do you idea on that? Everybody, others? Hello?
Sir, observation method is observing, describe the behavior. Sir.
Observation method is the researcher observes the participants.
Yes, sir.
Researcher observes the group and records information. For example, if you are studying impact of TV advertisements on children, or how children are reacting to certain TV programs. So you can't ask children, small children, to answer your questions, right? So in this type of situation, what we do is we adopt observation method. Okay. So we have to decide, depending upon our research problem, what kind of research tool we are going to use. Are we going to use a questionnaire, or interview, or observation, or case study, or experiment, something like that? Okay. So you decide about our tool. So in audience research, mostly we use questionnaire. So what is a questionnaire? Questionnaire is a list of questions related to your research problem. For example, if your research problem is to find out, to know the profile of AHA OTT. For example, AHA OTT. Who is watching AHA OTT? Who are subscribing AHA OTT? what is their income level, what is their occupational levels, what is their education qualification, okay, which programs they are watching, how much time they are spending, okay. So a questionnaire is a list of questions relating to your research problem. Or for example, just now I explained you about uses and gratifications theory. So this approach, that means what in this case, our study may be motivations for use of social media by farmers, or why farmers are using social media or YouTube. Why college students are using Facebook. Okay. So in this type of research project, you will prepare your questions based on your research problem or questions. What is your research problem? Question: when you are using use and gratifications, the reasons for using Facebook. So can anybody chart me why we use Facebook? One or two reasons. What satisfaction do you get by using Facebook? Can anybody just one? Satisfaction. Hello? What satisfaction do you get by using Facebook? Hello? I think all of you have Facebook accounts, right? Hello?
Yes, sir. All of us have Facebook. But
oh, just tell me one gratification, at least one satisfaction you get out of Facebook.
To chat with the people directly.
Pardon? We are connecting our friends, sir.
Okay. What else?
But unknowing the numbers, unknowing persons, connecting to new people, chat with new people.
Okay. So for example, if you are doing a audience study on motivations for use of Facebook, that means why they are using Facebook, what satisfaction they are getting out of Facebook. So we will have questions in our questionnaire. So I am using Facebook to connect with my friends. Yes, no, like that. Strongly agree, disagree. Connect with past, present colleagues. So actually, there was a study, college teachers in India, why they are using college teachers. Okay. So to connect, the satisfaction they get by using Facebook is to connect with friends and family, to connect with past and present colleagues, to find people with similar interest, to learn about other people's life, to get exposed to new way of life through online friends, to organize events related to my career, to stay in touch with people when I am unable to make real time. Actually, it is alternative. So second reason is to escape and past, to escape time pass, to kill time, to relieve my stress, to procrastinate, to postpone things, to derive from our pleasure, to take break from work, to escape from reality, to find new means of entertainment. So actually, I think, why do you seek thumbs up, thumbs down, Chapandi? What psychological satisfaction do you get? Hello? Likes. Hello? What do you get from more likes? More likes, you know, you
encouragements and feeling happy.
Okay, that is what is called affection seeking. Appreciation and validation. Oh, manchi pani chesavu. Happy New Year, happy birthday, happy wedding day. To motivate others on personal and professional achievements. Your son has got very good rank in MSET. Congratulations. Okay. To show solidarity to issues that matter to me. For example, if you have some bad news, they will encourage, don't worry, we are there. If somebody is suffering from, has corona, so we will say, we pray to God, something like this. This is what is called affection seeking. To share my problems. People share their problems, share achievements. Okay. So information seeking. So latest news. So and some of them are also academic skills improvement. So these are the reasons for use of Facebook by teachers. Okay. So recently, last batch, one of this MA student has done a study on is a real estate agent. Okay. So he did a study on use of social media by real estate agents. So what are the various social media? They are real estate agents or marketers or agents, whatever you call them, using, how they are using. Okay. So, right. So questionnaire. So a question, I think you have got an idea. What is a questionnaire? So we also include some questions in that questionnaire related to socio-economic background of the, first part will be social background of the participants. So what is their occupation? What is their age? Okay. What is their income levels? Whether they are married or not, men, women. Okay. So this is what we call profile, socio-economic background, who are there. Then we will say, what are the media you are using? Then why you are using Facebook. So this is called questionnaire. So sometimes questionnaires may not work. Okay. So in that case, we use, in some other cases, we use interviews. Interview is also another tool, research tool. Observation is also research tool. So when you are doing audience research, so you have to decide about your problems, about the media you are studying, about the tool you are going to use. Okay. The next step is where you want to get your information. This is what we call universe or population. Okay. So, you know, there are two types of surveys. You can get your, for example, school. If you want to do a similar kind of study on schools, okay, schools in Sangareddy. So there may be 10 schools, there may be 10,000 students may be there. Okay. So if we get information from all 10,000 students or participants, what do we call it? Anybody? If you get research information from everybody, all people, what do we call it? Hello? We call it census. Census survey. Okay. So if you want to study, to find out something about students in Sangareddy, and there are 10,000 students in Sangareddy. So is it possible to get information from 10,000? If not, why? Or is it necessary to get information from 10,000 everybody? So the answer is you need not collect information from all 10,000 children, students. Number one is it is not possible, very costly, very time consuming. Number two is by selecting few students, a fraction of the 10,000, you get same results. So what do we call it? Instead of 10,000, you get information from only 500 or 1,000. What do you call it? Hello? Anybody?
Sampling, sir.
Right, sampling. So instead of collecting information from entire population or universe, in research, we call it universe or population. Okay. So for example, you know what is sample? So in day-to-day life also, for example, if you are in a kirana shop and purchasing rice, okay. So what you do, you take a handful of rice and you will see whether quality is okay or not. Okay. So in day-to-day life, sampling is part and parcel of our life, right? So that means by examining, by observing 1 or 2 units, you can generalize about the characteristics of that entire population. So by taking 500 or 1,000 students' opinion, you can conclude that the 10,000 people are like this. 10,000 children think like this. 10,000 children use usage pattern of media is like this. Okay. So this is what we call sample. So in sample also we have to, based on our research problem, our objectives, we have to decide which sampling technique is appropriate. And this also depends upon nature of universe or population. Okay. For example, maybe, as I said, there are 10 schools in Sangareddy. Okay. So for our study, smartphones, when you say smartphones, so smartphones may be more with government school students or less with government school students. The usage may be more with private school students. Okay. So there are several kinds of sampling techniques I know. Have any idea, Anjaya? What are the various sampling techniques? Any 1 or 2? Just one sampling technique? What is random sampling? Hello? What is random sampling? Hello?
Sample taken from randomly, irrespectively, you can choose at any place.
Right. Random sampling means, what it means is every unit will have equal chance of being selected. Okay. So for example, if you have 10,000 students, every student will have same chance of being included in this sample. This is possibility. There is another assumption. The assumption is all the 10,000 students are similar, are same. Okay. For example, maybe from 10 quintals of rice, if you take handful of rice, there will not be any difference. Okay. But when it comes to human beings, there will be a lot of differences. Okay. So as I said, 500 out of 10,000, you have taken 500 children. It so happened that all of the 500 or 1,500 students, 400 are from public school, let us assume. Only 100 are from government schools. Okay. So if you get information, what will be the difference? The result will be biased. You can't generalize the results to the entire 10,000 students. Okay. So in these kind of situations, what we do is what is called stratified random sampling. Okay. Strata means echelons. Okay. So what we do is we take the ratio. For example, if there are 6,000 government schools, 6,000 students are studying in government school, 4,000 in private schools. So we take our 500 people in that ratio, 6:4. Okay. So this is what is called stratified sampling. So there are multi-stage, there are several types of samplings are there. So similarly, we may have to take into consideration classes also. First class, second class, or if you are not taking class, for example, maybe if you are taking 8th, 9th, 10th, so you have to take into consideration 8th, 9th, 10th also. Same girls and boys ratio. Okay. So you have identified your universe or population. Okay. So then sampling. What is the number of people you are going to take from that population or universe? So what kind of sampling technique you are going to use? Whether it is appropriate or not. Okay. So in this sampling, actually, how do we know whether it is appropriate, all these things? So at this stage, what we do is we conduct what is called a pilot study. A pilot study means a study with limited number of, maybe you can take just 100 students. You do a pilot research. So this research will give you an idea whether your decisions are right or wrong. That is, whether your tool is correct or not. So I think you must have understood about problems of designing a questionnaire. Any idea, Anjaya? What precautions we have to take before preparing a questionnaire? Any idea? Okay. So before preparing a questionnaire, designing a questionnaire, we have to see whether they are able to understand or not, whether they are giving correct answers or not. Okay. So what we call, there is a test called pre-testing or pilot study. So in this pilot study, we come to know about the questionnaires efficacy. This is what we call reliability and validity. Okay. So reliability and validity of questionnaire. Whether the respondents are understanding questions as we want them to understand. Ante మనం ఏ ప్రశ్నను వాళ్ళు ఎట్లా అర్థం చేసుకోవాలో అదే రకంగా అర్థం చేసుకుంటున్నారా లేదా. సో ఇవన్నీ తెలవాలంటే what we call, we carry out a small scale study, that is called pilot study. You also do something like kada engineering lo, Anjaya?
Yes, sir.
స్మాల్ స్కేల్ లో ఏం చేస్తారు కదా, ఇంజనీరింగ్ లో ఉంటుంది కదా.
చేస్తుంటాం సార్. స్మాల్ స్కేల్లో స్టడీ చేసి తర్వాత దాన్ని ఫీల్డ్ లో ఇంప్లిమెంట్ చేస్తుంటాం.
రైట్. సేమ్ మన రీసెర్చ్ లో కూడా there is a pilot study carried out before doing entire large scale study. So we come to know what are the problems, whether the participants are willing to give information, whether they are understanding our questions properly, question orders are okay, question wording is okay or not, okay, and is the sampling technique is correct or not. So the researcher will come to an understanding that this is the right way or not. Okay. So sampling is over. You have prepared your questionnaire or interview schedule. You know what is the difference between self-administered questionnaire and interview schedule? Anybody? Hello? So self-administered questionnaire is two types. One is self-administered questionnaire. So that means you prepare a questionnaire and give it to the participant. He will fill it and give it to you. This is what is called self-administered questionnaire. So there is a interview schedule. Interview schedule and questionnaire are same. But self-administered questionnaires are filled up by respondent. Interview schedules are filled by researcher. So for example, if your respondents are illiterates, so they can't read your questionnaire, then what you do, you read out the question, they will answer it, you fill it. Similarly, for example, if your questionnaire is in English, the respondent doesn't know English, so you read out the questionnaire, they will answer it, you fill it. Okay. So this is the way you do audience research. Okay. Audience research. Audience research means newspaper readers, TV viewers, radio listeners, okay, or social media users, or you can do all the media users studies. So they may be about this time they have spent, amount of money they are spending on media, how much monthly amount they are spending on internet, OTT, Dish TV, okay, newspaper, TV, all this amount. So whether there is any relationship between income and expenditure on media, their occupation and expenditure on media. So what kind of income levels are influencing media expenditure like that? Okay. So use and gratifications, their opinion about newspapers, credibility, newspaper credibility, what newspaper readers are thinking about newspapers, whether they are trusting a newspaper, whether they are trusting TV channels. So all these are research related to audience research, right? So depending upon your method, objective, that is whether it is descriptive study or analytical study, you have to decide about your research design, survey research, experimental research, content analysis, or sometimes you may have to club both. For example, yesterday I told you what is agenda setting theory. Anybody? What is agenda? Agenda setting theory. Anjaya? Hello? Agenda setting theory. Any idea? Okay. So it is about media's importance to particular issue. Okay. So anyway, so whether we are using agenda setting theory or use and gratifications theory or gatekeeping theory, these are several theories, whether those theories are applicable or not. So these are objectives. Depending upon objective, you decide method, research tool, that is questionnaire or interview, and research questions in questionnaires. Questions will be based on your objectives. Okay. So what you want to study, right? Then you have to decide about your population or universe. So that is the area you are going to study, or generalization you want to make about that particular area. That is, as I said earlier, whether it's school students of a particular district or particular town, city, or college students, university students, something like that. And that is what is called population or universe. So you can collect information from the entire population, but it is expensive and not necessary. By using statistical methods, we can estimate 95% correctly. So I think you know these poll surveys, right? So in poll survey, even out of 3-4 lakh voters, they take information, opinion only from few hundred, but still they are able to predict correctly. This is because of the use of statistical methods, right? So after population, you decide your appropriate sampling techniques. So the sampling technique depends upon the nature of population, the geographical spreading of population, where they are. Okay. So next is, after sample is selected, you administer your questionnaire. That means you get information by sending that questionnaire or interviewing or observation. Then you analyze the data, you write a report. So in report, I think in first semester, the last chapter, I think there is a chapter on report writing. So what are the important elements or chapters of a research report? First is introduction. In that introduction, you have to justify your research, why you are doing it. You have to mention your objectives or research questions. Okay. So for example, so if you are doing a study, we will say, what is the age of the respondents, their occupation background, number 2, their income levels, number 3, which newspaper they are reading regularly, how much time they are spending, how often they are doing, reading. That means whether they are reading 7 days a week, 5 days a week, 3 days a week, once in a while. So when you are preparing a questionnaire, your questions must be very, very specific. So you can also, you will find several questions like this. How often you read newspaper? మీరు న్యూస్ పేపరు పత్రికని ఎంత తరచుగా చదువుతారు? అప్పుడప్పుడు, కొన్నిసార్లు, చాలా తక్కువ సార్లు. ఓకే. సో అప్పుడప్పుడు అంటే ఏమిటి, కొన్నిసార్లు అంటే ఏమిటి? అందుకని మనం ఏం చేస్తాము, స్పెసిఫిక్గా వారానికి 1 రోజు, వారానికి 3 రోజులు, వారానికి 5 రోజులు, వారానికి 7 రోజులు, అప్పుడప్పుడు. Okay, so our questions, so earlier I told you that in pre-testing or pilot study, we will find these kind of issues, whether our question is correct or not, wording is correct or not. So if you give a questionnaire to some person, he will say, what does it mean? Okay. So data collection and in report writing. So I was mentioning about introduction where we have to write our research objectives. So how often they are reading newspaper, how much time they are spending, what percentage they are reading, which page first, So to find out the reader's preference, when newspaper comes to your home in the morning, which is the first page you read? Sports page, page 1, cartoon, business page, family page. Okay. So these are the research questions you have to specifically write. Then second chapter is review of literature. You know what is review of literature? Any idea? Anjaya? Hello? Review of literature or survey of literature. Review of literature or survey of literature is research articles, theories, studies, reports related to our research. Literature doesn't mean novels, stories, poetry. Okay. So review of literature means earlier research, earlier studies done on our chosen topic. So if we are doing a study on motivations for use of Facebook, or use and gratifications of Facebook. So we have to read all the earlier research, published research on that topic. Okay. So what do we get out of this review of literature? So review of literature gives us the conceptual clarity. So I think in third semester, you have development communication, right? Hello? Hello? Do you know what is development communication? Emma? Hello? So for example, if you are doing a research on development communication, so review of literature gives you an idea of how the concept of development is changing. Okay. So what are the actually research, what we call it is a systematic study. What is systematic? Systematic means it is a accepted methodical way of doing. So by doing review of literature, you know what is the research done by earlier research, what are their findings. Okay. So if there is nothing new you are going to find out, there is no point in research. Okay. So review of literature gives you an idea about the gap in research. Research gap. So research must be related to, your idea must be new. So for example, there is a, research is two kinds. One is basic research, applied research. For example, there is a problem in, if you take any other, for example, in medical field, there is a problem, but already there is a solution to the problem. So there is no need to do research again, right? So any research idea must be new, novel, something new must be offered, something new must come out of your research. So review of literature gives you an idea about theory. Okay. So if you read audience research, earlier research, you will find what is uses and gratifications theory. Okay. So there are several studies, uses and gratifications. There are studies done by people on print media research, TV, uses and gratifications over, internet over, చాలా మంది చేసేశారు, సోషల్ మీడియా చాలా మంది చేసేశారు. బట్ ఎవరు కూడా ఓటీటీ మీద చెయ్యలేదు, కాబట్టి నేను చేస్తున్నాను. ఓకే. సో second chapter is review of literature, where you have to read research related to your topic, research articles, research books, thesis, dissertations, reports. So after reading all these sources, you will come to an idea about concepts, operational definitions, tools, that means how to prepare a questionnaire. Okay. So then next section is methodology section. So how you have carried out your research, what tool you have used, what is your population, what is your sample, how you have administered it, how many you have distributed questionnaires, how many you got back. So you get questionnaires, convert that data into tables and write recommendations and findings. Okay. So Anjaya, hello.
Sir, చెప్పండి సార్.
So ఇప్పుడు చెప్పు ఆడియన్స్ రీసెర్చ్ ఎట్లా చేయొచ్చు, ఐడియా వచ్చిందా? వాట్ ఈజ్ ఆడియన్స్ రీసెర్చ్? దానికి ఏ టూల్ వాడాలి, దానికి కావాల్సిన రెస్పాండెంట్స్ ని ఎట్లా చూజ్ చేసుకోవాలి, క్వశ్చనర్ ని ఎట్లా తయారు చేయాలి. సో వై పీపుల్ ప్రిఫర్, అంటే ముఖ్యంగా వై పీపుల్ ప్రిఫర్ ఆడియన్స్ రీసెర్చ్, కారణం ఏమిటి?
అంటే వాళ్ళ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ ప్రమోట్ చేసుకోవడానికి.
Audience research is preferred because the participants availability. Audience అంటే ఎవరు? న్యూస్ పేపర్ రీడర్స్, టీవీ వ్యూవర్స్, రేడియో లిజనర్స్, ఇంటర్నెట్ యూజర్స్, సోషల్ మీడియా యూజర్స్. వీళ్ళందరూ మనకు ఎక్కడ ఒక తండాకి వెళితే కూడా you will get your respondents.
Yes, sir.
Very easy to get respondents. Manaku media audience dorakani, for example, Tandalo, if you want to do a audience research on OTT, you may not get respondents. Okay. For example, if you want to do a study on maybe army persons, defense people, so you may not get them. They have to take permission from their superior. Okay. So army officers may not give this permission for them to give their opinion, right? So one of the factor which influences the topic is mostly students is, or even for example, research topic identification criteria is availability of data, availability of participants. Okay. So ఈ రోజు మనం ఏంటంటే ఆడియన్స్ రీసెర్చ్ గురించి డిస్కస్ చేసాం. తర్వాత అంటే మీకు ప్రాజెక్ట్ రిపోర్టు ఎక్కువగా ఏ ఏరియాస్లో మీరు చేసే అవకాశం ఉందో వాటికి సంబంధించి మనం టాపిక్ను ఎట్లా చూజ్ చేసుకోవాలి, రీసెర్చ్ టూల్ని ఎట్లా యూజ్ చేసుకోవాలి, ఓకే. సో అనేది మనం డిస్కస్ చేద్దాం. ఈరోజు ఆడియన్స్ రీసెర్చ్ అయిపోయింది. తర్వాత కంటెంట్ అనాలిసిస్, ఇంపాక్ట్ స్టడీస్, ప్లస్ సమ్ పబ్లికేషన్స్, కేస్ స్టడీస్. Okay. So any questions or something like that? Hello? Is it okay?
Okay, sir. That's okay.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.